But a lot of these stuff that we deal with, I tell people all the time, you know, a lot of the addictions, bro, right? Drug addictions, sex addictions, all these other addictions are addictions that everybody could see. So it's easy for us to judge that person. But what about your addiction? What about your greed? Like, I tell my wife all the time, like, she asks me to cook food and she's like, thanks. I'm like, and I tell her, I'm like, I promise God that I'm gonna take care of you. My promise is not to you, right? Yeah, I do also promise you, but the promise was to God first.
Yeah.
Everybody say, oh, let me find my peace. Oh, I need to find myself. The goal is not to find yourself, bro. The goal is to lose yourself and find God.
You can't control the other person's decisions or behaviors, but you can control how you behave. And it was your fault for trusting a person who can't be trusted. Man, that is so profound.
Yeah, but that's God, bro. But I'm telling you, bro.
There is a crosspod between the Couch Connect and Young and Gifted.
Young and Gifted.
Young and Gifted.
Young and Gifted, yeah.
How young are you, man?
Me, I'm old. I'm old.
I still call myself young, even if I've started to age. I feel like I'm aging now, but I still think that I'm young. You know, I feel young in my bones. My body feels young.
Yeah. Well, honestly, bro, one of the reasons why I say young is because in God's eyes, we all children, right?
Yeah.
We always be children, no matter how old we think we are. You know, like,
was Methuselah a kid?
Huh?
Methuselah was 969 years old when he died.
You know, and honestly, for us, is like time only exists in this life.
Yeah.
You know, and in the next lifetime, there's no time. The time doesn't exist. Like, it's, I can't remember the word for it, but time doesn't exist. So young is I think we all young, no matter how old we are, because time doesn't really exist. It just exists for us.
Yeah.
You know? But once it's done, there's no time. It doesn't exist. We all young. So I don't know, it's yeah. I feel everyone is
you said something there which I find really cool, and I hope that I get an opportunity to explore this further, what you just said, so that I can put my mind properly in that frame to talk about it. But what you said here is that the time that exists only exists here on Earth, maybe, and maybe near Earth space.
Yeah.
Right. But once we go beyond near Earth space into the atmosphere and, you know, into space, then that time ceases to exist in that way. You know, the time becomes different.
Well, I think because okay, so once we go further than that, then it's still life, so it's still time.
Yeah.
You know, what I really meant was after we die.
Yeah.
After we die, when we get to heaven, or if we go to hell, hopefully you don't go to hell, but once we die,
I don't want to go to hell.
Yeah. So once we die and we meet the Maker, and for God and for Satan, there is no time.
Yeah.
You know, so but for us there is time. You know, and because of our flesh and what we was born in, which is sin, makes us age quicker and quicker and quicker, and we carry help. That's just part of it. You know, so yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, true. And I do agree with you. And I was also, you know, exploring that further is because the way we understand time is because of the way we calculate our physics. You know, our physics has been trained to us in a certain type of way, and that is how we calculate time. But I was, you know, reading this article, and they were saying how once you go into space or into, you know, other galaxies, then time becomes different. And so I am a Christian and a scientist at the same time.
Yeah.
And what I believe is that heaven exists in a different galaxy. You know, that's kind of like how I look at it. And so in that other galaxy, then it is very possible that the way time is measured over there is very different from the way time is measured over here. And that's why, you know, in the Bible it says that to God a day is like 1,000 years, or 1,000 years is like a day. You know, depending on how you look at it.
But I mean, like, even on Earth here, there's some places that measure time different to some. You know, like for me, I have this thing that I have in my head where when it comes to time is that I've always seen time as something that is horizontal and not vertical. You know, it's like we see time as vertical, like we go up.
Yeah,
we go
increases,
up, right? And it can never go back down. But I see time as vertical. I feel like everything that is happening at the same time.
Yeah.
It's just our spirit experiences it at different points.
Oh,
So,
okay.
like for instance, you at the end, you say you're going to Kenya.
Yeah.
So you in Kenya is happening right now,
Mm-hmm.
but you just didn't experience it right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense. So like,
Well, my mind can't comprehend it because I don't understand it, but I can see what you mean.
yeah. So like for instance, like like my mom was in Canada. We just dropped her back on Sunday. She was here for 3 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and I was picking her up, and I was like, while I was picking up, I'm like, oh yeah, I can't wait for her to come. But then in my mind, I'm like, if you can't wait for her to come, that means you can't wait for her to leave.
True.
Because the time is the time.
Yeah.
You know, if you rush the time, it rushes the time. It happens like you experience this point right here in your life, and then your spirit moves on to the next point that you experience, and it's all happening simultaneously.
Yeah. Where does your mom live?
She left already. She left on Sunday.
Where is she right now?
Oh, where does she live? Oh, Trinidad.
Oh, is that where you're from originally?
Yeah, I'm from Trinidad. Yeah.
You know, when I was a kid, I used to think of Trinidad and Tobago, and I had a friend of mine who told me that he traveled to Trinidad. He was a preacher, he was an evangelist. He told me that he traveled to Trinidad. So I used to think of Trinidad as this cool place, and I always wanted to. I haven't gone to Trinidad yet, but I'm happy to be hanging out with a Trinidadian. Is that what you call yourself?
Yeah, Trinidadian. Yeah. Oh, Trini, can I say Trini?
I'm happy to be hanging out with a Trini today.
Yeah.
Yeah, how's it growing up in? Did you grow up in
Yeah,
Trinidad?
I grew up there. I came here when I was 21.
Oh, okay.
Growing up in Trinidad was really good, bro. It's something that that I will never want to erase. I wish my kids could grow up in Trinidad, to be honest. Like I see the things that we value growing up there compared to the things that we value growing up here is way different. Your sense of family, your sense of belonging, your sense of being, your sense of understanding that your life is like you literally mean nothing. You know, is and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean like we all mean something. I mean like when we leave, people gonna mourn for a week or two, unless it's like your mom, your brothers would mourn for a lifetime.
Yeah.
But for like all these other
Your
things that
friends.
we fighting for, it means nothing, bro. You know?
Your workplace is going to replace you in
they're gonna
a
replace
day.
you. Yeah, in a
or the moment you're gone, the advert is
exactly.
up. Yeah.
No, they I was reading something and they said the day JFK was assassinated, right? The other
The vice president?
had
Yeah.
to step up as the president.
Yeah.
Right? His wife had to go with blood stains, bro.
Yeah.
Like they replace you it don't matter who you are. Because life has
Even
to go
if you're
on.
the most powerful man on earth.
Bro, life has to go on, bro. You know, like people,
True.
the people who you directly impacted is who remembers you and who mourns you the most. So it's better to impact.
What you're saying is that in Trinidad, it is different then.
No, in Trinidad, that's how we grew up. We grew up understanding that.
Understand that when you're gone, you're replaceable, and that's it.
Yeah, and to enjoy your life because when you're gone, you're gone.
Yeah.
You know.
But do you feel like it is different in Canada? That aspect, in the sense that maybe in Trinidad you spend more time thinking about the departed, and maybe you celebrate their life more. But in Canada, you don't even get an opportunity to celebrate their life. It's like once they're gone, you gotta continue worrying about your work and bills and stuff.
No, you're right. And but I feel like what I really mean is like in Canada, I feel like we work so much that we don't get to sit back and really understand what life is. Because everybody trying to one up the next person. You know, you don't even get time to really get to know your neighbors. Like growing up in Trinidad, we know all the neighbors.
Yeah.
You know, know you in this neighborhood, you know everybody in the neighborhood. We know the weird person in the neighborhood. It's like, oh, don't go in Mr. Jenkins' yard. Mr. Jenkins weird. You know.
Yep.
We know everybody in the neighborhood. You know, so much so that when you see a car that not from the neighborhood, you're like, yo, that person don't live here.
Yeah. That's
you know?
a new car, or you know.
Exactly. Whereas here is like, you have a neighbor, you don't even talk to your neighbor. Your neighbor could be suffering with severe depression.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even know. Then you just say, "Oh, my neighbor commit suicide." Like how? Because we didn't spend time with people. You know, and it's not even on them. Is that we actually do have time in Canada. In Canada, you actually do have time. It's all a rat race.
Yeah. You know what I'm thinking? You just said that. I was even thinking it is possible that your neighbor could have depression, commit suicide, die, be wheeled out, into on or whatever they wheel them out in, go be buried somewhere or be cremated somewhere. Someone else buys that house and lives there, and you have no idea. You're like, oh, someone else is moving in.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay.
You have no
but
idea.
you're still moving on with your life.
And it's something that bothers me a lot too, because I work at a barber shop, and I think about like my clients a lot, and like certain clients that you didn't see in a while, and you're like, yo, I wonder what that person doing. Not everybody have Instagram or TikTok, especially the older ones.
Yeah.
And then like eventually you just stop seeing these older ones, and you're like, I wonder if he's like, it's crazy.
He's okay.
Yeah, but that's just the world we live in. My thoughts go to these places so often that it becomes like it comes natural to me. But yeah.
You know what? One thing that I was thinking someday, I was driving down a street one day, and there was this row of new townhouses which had just been constructed. And so I was driving down, I was like, man, these are like shelves where products are going to be placed, like the way you were walking down a supermarket aisle or a grocery store aisle.
Yeah.
And, everything has a place that is stored in the shelf of the grocery aisle. Like, all these houses, everybody's just waiting to be packed in their, in their shelf or something like that.
I don't know how it is in Kenya, but even in Trinidad, most people, they like to customize the house, bro. It
is the same as in Kenya.
You drive down the street, you see different colors, different personalities. You could tell someone's personality from their house.
Yeah, you could tell how smart they are, or how weird they are.
Yeah, or you could say, oh, this person loves colors, and they've been in the garden, and the garden is different colors, or the garden is fruits. This person have a lot of fruit trees. She must have grandkids. It's different there than here. Here is like everything is the same. Come, you work, you leave.
Let me ask you a question. You're talking about Trini a lot, and I'd love to know. So is Trinidad also called Trini, or Trini are the people from Trinidad?
Well, you could call it like, you could use it as a noun for there too. It's like so it's like you could say, oh, I'm going to Trini.
Okay.
I'm going.
And you can also say, I am Trini.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
But most people from Trinidad would never say, I'm going to Trini.
What they say?
They'll say, I'm going back to Trinidad, or I'm going home.
Oh, okay.
But they will never really say, I'm going Trini next week,
I see.
It's mostly people who are not from there that will say, I'm going Trini. Because to us, a Trini is someone who's from there.
So I want to understand something, about your context. So you are we're going to talk about, you being a barber, and I want to understand the experience. There's some preconceptions that I have about what goes on in a barber shop, and I'd like you to tell me if they are true or false.
Right.
But before we get there, I believe that you are very innovative, looking at your space. So folks, if you're catching us for the first time, we're doing this cross pod between the Couch Connect and the Young and Gifted podcast, hosted by Vaughn Patron. And Vaughan is from Trinidad originally.
Yeah.
And so what I want to understand is, growing up, did you have any sort of innovative games as you're growing up? I teach innovation, and I'm always looking at how my students can innovate the stuff that they use, make them better, or take whatever already exists and make it better. So in my podcast, I also try to look at, what innovative products people use, across their lifespan.
I was always a creative kid. Like, and my mom understood me the most, and she really pushed for me. Like, she would buy like I'll never forget, she buy like toys, like a Batman toy, and I'll like break off the leg to play with the leg, or those Q-tips, like those ones I pay in ears.
Yeah.
I'll take off the cotton from it, and I'll bend it and use it as like a toy.
Okay.
So I'll always do those kind of things, and I'll always like create. I always like to create different stories, or like I used to always like to make people laugh. 'Cause I used to do stand-up comedy as well.
Oh,
So I
really?
did stand up, yeah, because
How old were you when you're doing stand-up comedy?
I was 25.
So you're
maybe.
you're already in Canada.
Yeah, I was already in Canada, but then I stopped. I stopped after my daughter was born because there was so much to do, right? And that's why I went to film and that kind of
Yeah,
stuff, because I
yeah.
wanted to go back into film and then come back into stand-up comedy. So,
Okay.
yeah. So I always like to make people laugh, and any way I could create, I would just try, bro. Do like I remember one time me and my cousin, we took like different ropes and we tried to create a what do you call it, like Canada's Wonderland. What do you call it, like a fair
Yeah.
with like we used ropes on the trees, and then one of my cousins actually the rope wasn't good and he fell off the tree and injured himself, and we had to like
Did he like break his
everything.
skull or something?
Yeah, he like hit his head, bro. It was bad.
Damn.
Yeah, it was
Is
bad.
he okay now?
Yeah, he's good now. He's good now.
Okay.
He's good now. But back then it was. That's how it was. Like nowadays, people be like, "Oh, this kid, might go hospital." But no, back then it was you fall, you give a cup, right?
Did you ever play with clay? You know.
Well, we did. We back then we had plasticine.
Okay, so you played with plasticine.
Yeah.
For me, plasticine was for rich kids.
Yeah.
So the rest of us used to use clay and would make cars or whatever.
You know,
pots and-
we didn't have clay like that.
Oh, okay. I
You
see.
know, so plasticine was so in Trinidad. What happens is that the government back then would give you money to buy books for school. So we have education for free in Trinidad, like education from the time you born all the way up. Unless you want to go private, it's free,
Even in university, it's free.
and even in university, it's free.
Is it the same for foreigners as well? So
No, I don't think it's for foreigners. But the thing about it is that so they also give you a grant because and the grant is to buy books and stuff, and some of the books that they'll give you a book list every year. You go home with a book list so your parents could buy books for the next year.
yeah.
And plasticine was always there. You know, so plasticine, crayons and that kind of stuff. So we would always have those things.
Yeah, I remember in my experience, crayons are also expensive, and so we had to win them in like competitions in
Yeah.
school. So if you're like the best student who like scored highly in math, you'd win a box of crayons,
Yeah.
and you'd use probably that to play during the holidays. Of course, the rich kids would afford crayons and stuff like that, and colored pencils too.
Yeah, colored pencils
Yeah,
was
and then they
big.
draw and stuff like that.
Yeah, so in Trinidad it's different when it comes to like education like that. You get a lot of help.
And so, do you think that having that sort of innovative background has helped you now as you've grown older?
Definitely. Like, honestly, sometimes it's frustrating, but I feel like it definitely did help in terms of molding who I am.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it was very impactful.
So let me talk about your barber shop. So I always hear that the way women go into salons to gossip,
Yeah.
men also go into barber shops to gossip. How true
Well,
is that?
I wouldn't say men going to barbershop to gossip. I would say men going to barbershops for healing.
Okay.
So like a lot of the times men come into the barbershop and we talk about, like, I don't know about all of it, but I can tell you from my barbershop, right? In my barbershop, we play a lot of like sermons, no?
Like preaching sermons.
Preaching sermons, no? We try to spark a lot of debates that's more fruitful. Yeah, we do have our banter.
Yeah.
Because we men, like the arts times you come to the shop and you just hear banter, talk that there's no fruit to be found.
Yeah.
It's just talk because we want to have fun.
Yeah.
But then you could also come in and we could be talking about Job. Like we could be talking about David or Solomon, or
Yeah.
we could be having these conversations that about life or marriage or what we think love is, and we do all these things at the shop. So I can tell you about my barber shop now. We try to just have open discussions and let people be able to speak freely about what they believe and what they think, and yeah, just have a safe space for everybody.
So what is one of the weirdest beliefs that you hear from people when they come to the shop?
Oh, what are the weirdest beliefs?
I don't know. Do you get people talking about, stuff like they believe like I don't know, rocks are gonna turn into people in the future or stuff like that?
Not really. No, we just have like some debates with like flat earthers and round earthers.
Yeah.
But nothing too crazy.
What do you think? Why would you think someone would believe that the Earth is flat? What are the reasons that they give?
Okay, I would say that there is no way to physically prove that the Earth is round or that the Earth is flat, unless you could go out of space for yourself and see.
Well, with $200,000 now you can.
Yeah,
if you can afford it,
exactly.
Sell your home and go.
But that's the only way to prove it.
Yeah,
and that proof is for that person. It's for nobody else.
Like,
for you to believe something, you had to see it, bro. That's what they say: seeing is believing.
Yeah,
So there would always be people who think that the Earth is flat, and they would have their points that make sense.
So what is one of the points that people give about the Earth being flat that makes sense to them? Or
I don't even know. I can't even. So this is the thing with me is that I encourage people to create their own discussions and to say what they believe.
Yeah.
But I also protect what I believe so much that I don't save what they have in my head.
Yeah.
So like a lot of the times, even like even trauma. That's how I deal with trauma too. Right. A lot of the times I try not to. I don't save things. So if you say something that I don't believe or I don't agree with, let's be like, okay, cool, and we can talk about it. But after it's done,
that's
I'm not going to remember it. I'm not saving it.
Yeah,
I just go back and press delete and I'm done.
There's this guy, Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves?
Yeah, he's a Canadian actor, and so what is it? He's Canadian, right?
Yeah,
I don't want to be wrong. Yeah,
from Toronto.
So one of the things he said is that he's at a point in life where he doesn't want to argue with anyone. So even if you come to him and tell him that I think 2 + 2 is 7, he'll be like, yeah, you're right. He doesn't want to argue with anyone.
No, but I had a guy one time in the barber shop come and he was pouring his heart out, and he was telling me that he haven't seen his kids in 10 years, and it's really hurting him, and he was crying, and I was talking to him and telling him that he was saying that his wife took the kids away from him and she wouldn't let him see him because she thinks he's on drugs, and it's really been killing him. It's been making him do more drugs. And then so we was having this tough conversation, and then I told him, I was like, okay, so where do your kids live? Well, he lives London. He lives London. So then I said, oh, so where do your kids live? He's like, like 3 doors down from me. I was like, yo, get out of my chair, bro. Get out of my chair, bro. Your kids live right there. You don't see them.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, I think that's the weirdest thing that I had, bro. I was actually so vexed that he sat in my chair for so long and we was talking. Yeah. Because I'm like, bro, your kids live right there, bro. 3 doors down.
Yeah. But is it? Did the police tell him not to see the kids or something?
I don't know, but for 10 years, the police will never keep you away from your kids for 10 years.
Of course.
Unless maybe if you do something to touch one of them, maybe, I don't know. But for 10 years, bro.
I think that sounds weird also to
10
me.
years. He definitely was on drugs. Like, I can tell he was on drugs.
Yeah.
But 10 years.
I think that's a long time. I feel like if it gets to a point where if you're not seeing them for 10 years and they live 3 doors down from you, maybe you also don't want to see them.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I mean. It's like, bro, get out of my chair. Stop wasting your time, bro. If you wanted to see your kids, you would see your kids, bro. I never understand why people say, oh, I didn't talk to my kids in 5 years. Bro, if my kid, me at my age right now, and this is not me judging anybody, yeah? So, me right now, if my kids grow up and they don't want to talk to me, bet every day that you have that they're going to be finding groceries every week or 2 weeks at least outside their house.
Yeah.
If they don't use the groceries, fine.
That's fine.
You don't have to talk to me. But I would show you that I still love you.
Yeah.
I would never allow you to not talk to me. For you to not talk to me, you have to have a good reason to give to God.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna go to God as a father and say I allow that to happen. That's never gonna happen, bro.
Yeah, man. But I see all these kids who. Why do you think some people don't have a relationship with their kids? relationships with their kids?
I think it's selfish, bro. I think it's selfishness, without a doubt. I think you have your own dreams and stuff, and you think that your kids, you think that you come before your kids. You know, it could be other personal things, but I don't see any good reason for somebody to not take care of the kids, other than they don't want to change who they are.
Yeah.
You know, and it's funny because I made this post about Job.
Job, the guy in the Bible.
You're right. And basically the post was, why didn't Satan kill Job's wife? And I gave my perspective as to why I think Satan didn't kill Job's wife. And then... So
what is that perspective?
My perspective? So my perspective was that I feel like God... So when Satan and God was having this conversation, Satan told God that the only reason why Job protects you is because he built a fence around him. You know? He's like, okay, we basically, shortened version, he's like, okay, you move the fence, you're free to attack him, just don't kill him. He killed his business, he killed all his wealth, he killed his kids, his all 7, no, 10 kids. 10.
I think there was 7 guys and 3
girls, right? So
yeah.
10 kids at the same time.
Yeah.
They all died at the same time. They was in a house partying, and the roof fell at the same time.
Yeah.
They all died. And then his wife survived. His wife went to him and said, yeah, why don't you curse God? And people always say the devil was using her to get him to curse God. But people don't put themselves in the shoes of a woman. Because they make it seem like she was this thing she was this. But put yourself, let's be real. For 2 seconds, let's be real. How many Christians nowadays gonna have all the kids die in one day? 10 kids in one day, the business is gone and all the money from the bank wiped away. How much of us gonna say is a test from God?
Hey, I first of all, I would dislike God.
Exactly, but we like to read the Bible and pretend that we better than the people in the Bible. So say, oh Satan was using Job's wife. No, bro, be real. She's a woman.
Yeah.
Then Job told her, basically, don't let the devil get to you. Basically, God give whatever God give us, He could take away. And then after that, you don't hear about her anymore, right? And I think the reason why Satan didn't kill her is because when you marry to somebody, you become one. So when God said don't kill Job, it meant his wife too, because him and his wife is one.
Are you a preacher, man?
I'm not a preacher, but so
you should be. Yeah, should
maybe,
be a third career
in the next life. But so God, but deeper than that, God saw Job and his wife as one. Because they were married. They one person. The worst part, the biggest part is that Satan also saw the marriage as one. So Satan saw Job's wife as Job. So even Satan respects marriage.
Damn.
Think about that, bro.
That's deep.
Think about that. And this is the thing, bro, is that we walk around now and we talk about, like, I tell my wife all the time, like, she asks me to cook food and she's like, thanks. I'm like, and I tell her, I'm like, I promise God that I'm gonna take care of you. My promise is not to you. My promise is to God.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I do also promise you. But the promise was to God first. That God, thank you for giving me this person and I'm gonna take care of this person.
Yeah.
Right? And if you give me one, I'll return it back to you.
In one flesh.
Exactly. So anyway, so that was the post. So this guy, he commented, he's like, there's no God. Right? And I'm like, let me try to rethink, because I didn't want to get into the Job story, but we get into it. But yeah, so this guy commented that he doesn't like, so this post took off. It's taking off right now. There's a lot of comments, people talking, people from America, they having different conversations about it. And this guy is like, he doesn't, there's no God.
Yeah, is this post on Facebook or Instagram?
On my personal page. Yeah. And in the post now, then he's like, there's no God. And I'm like, I didn't comment back as yet. I was thinking of what comment. And I talk you know, I don't want to sound like I'm overly Christian because I'm not. You know, I'm one of the most imperfect people, but I talk to God a lot, and I ask like, what is supposed to mean? Well, like how to respond to this, and it's like, there is no God is a arguable statement, right? Because there's not now like there's no way for me to prove to you that there is a God. There is like if you want to be technical about everything, there's no way to prove to you. But what I could prove to you is that his teachings in the Bible, and if you follow him, makes your life easier. It makes you a better person.
Yeah.
It takes away all these hardships that not necessary. You know, like a lot of stuff that we battle in our life doesn't need to be a battle.
That's difficult.
Bro. It doesn't need to be this difficult. But that's one thing I could prove. I could prove to you for myself that his teachings help you be a better father, helps you be a better businessman, it helps you be a better husband, because all you could think about is every person that you interact with has to see the light of God.
Yeah. They even make you a better podcast host.
Yeah. Yeah.
True.
So, and that's the thing with that, is that I can't bank on all these different things, and I don't go and sit down here and pretend I'm this righteous person.
Yeah.
Because I have my flaws and my sins that I still battle in and I'm trying to overcome.
Yeah. Daily.
Right? Daily. Bro.
Don't we all, man?
Daily.
We
you
all
know?
got, yeah.
And I don't want it to misconstrue who God is. Because most people feel like when you have God, you automatically become this guy who is far from everything, and it's not true. But we all imperfect. This flesh that we live in is something that is what's killing us. Your spirit don't die.
Yeah. It is the flesh.
It's the flesh that dies, and then you leave the flesh. And sin is what kills the flesh. So the sin kills the flesh, but the spirit lives on.
Yeah.
But decisions stay with the spirit.
Decisions stay with the spirit.
The decisions, because the spirit is you. It's like a brand. Think about like Nike.
I was actually thinking about Nike. I don't know how you can.
Yeah, so think about Nike.
Yeah.
Right? So there was this business analyst one time, they asked him the difference between a brand and a logo. He said, if I tell you Nike was making hotels, then I tell you Marriott was making shoes. In your mind, you could tell the hotel that Nike will make. You pictured it. Right? You could picture the Nike hotel. You could see how it would look.
Yeah.
Right? But with Marriott, you can picture what shoe that they will make. And that's a brand.
Yeah.
Right? The brand is who you are. You know, what you believe. Or everything that you stand for. Right? So when people see me, what do they see? Right? I like to be funny. You know? But what do they leave with? Do they leave with saying that, or that person, that guy is a piece of shit, basically, you know?
Or
you know, I argued with this guy in the mall like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And after I argued with him, I went back to him and apologized, bro.
What was the argument about?
It was my phone. He scammed me, basically. You know, and then
you apologized after he scammed you?
Yeah, I got angry.
You are very gracious, man.
Bro, no, so I'm gonna tell you, bro. I get angry, and then I saw red. So then I went back to how I would deal with things before, or like that's the only way we know how to deal with things. And then so then I go back to him and I'm like, bro, you know what, man? I'm sorry. I should have never talked to you that way, and I should never tell you the things I tell you. It's my fault for trusting somebody that shouldn't be trusted. It's not your fault that I trusted you. You are who you are. I am who I am.
It is my fault that I trusted you.
I can control how I behave. I can control how you behave. So I'm sorry for how I behaved.
What did he give you back? I don't know.
No, he didn't give me back. I said keep it. Right? It was 150, bro. That not gonna make me a millionaire.
Man, I think you said something powerful there that is so potent, man. That you can't control the other person's decisions or behaviors, but you can control how you behave. And it was your fault for trusting a person who can't be trusted. Man, that is so profound.
Yeah, but that's God, bro. But I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you, dog. I see so much changes, and I'll never in my life say is me. It's God. When it happened, my wife was right there. Right, my wife started. My kids were there too, but I sent them out. My mom was there. I was like, "Yo, you guys go for food," because I knew my blood was rising. Right? He was acting up, and I know where I was gonna go. Right? My wife stayed, and she's like, "Oh, Vaughn, you shouldn't say that." I went to the side, bro. Ask her, call her right now. I went to the side. I prayed. I prayed. I was in the mall. I prayed. Then I went back, bro.
And apologize.
You have to be humble. You have to understand that, bro. Is people's job to be who they are. I can't. If you leave this podcast today right now, right, and you, God forbid, you steal all my stuff. I go to use the bathroom. I come back and it's all gone. Whose fault is it?
Well, it is your fault for having trusted me in your space.
It's my fault.
Yeah, for having welcomed me into your studio.
It's my fault. It's my fault for going to the bathroom and leaving you. It's my fault, bro. It's not your fault. You are who you are. You could be dealing with something that you don't even know how to control, bro. You steal the cameras for no reason. Why? Most people who do bad stuff, you say, why do that? I don't know.
Yeah, when they're arrested, they say that I don't know why I did it. It's not
their fault, bro. They are being ordered by something different, but you know how to be the person to show them and to make them want to be like, oh, what that person on. And as I say, bro, I'm far from perfect. I get angry a lot. Yeah. But not with my like. I never yell at my wife or anything like that. I never fight like that. When she is having her moments, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not arguing. Yeah. There's no. Oh, we're gonna sleep in separate rooms. No. You know, it's.
I think that's great. Can you picture the exact moment when you turned around your life and became like, you know what, I'm gonna live this kind of different life?
I would say, I always grew up in church, but I always backslide and backslide.
What church is that?
Back in Trinidad, like Pentecost. Back in Trinidad.
It's called like the Pentecost Church of Trinidad, something like that?
No. There's a bunch of, like, Trinidad is heavily Pentecostal. It's heavily Christian, Catholic and stuff, so there's a lot of different churches.
So he's one of those churches, okay.
Yeah, so then I used to do like mission and that kind of stuff. Then I'll backslide and come back and backslide. And this is what I'm saying, bro. I don't want to sit here for it to seem like I'm this righteous person, bro. What I could say is that I am on a journey, and I do long to become a man of God.
Why do some Christians want to portray a personality of perfection? Do you think that's because the world puts pressure on them?
No, I think that's what they think that God wants. I think a lot of Christians believe that God wants a perfect being. You know? But he knows that we human, you know. But a lot of these stuff that we deal with, I tell people all the time, you know, a lot of the addictions, bro, right? Drug addictions, sex addictions, all these other addictions are addictions that everybody could see. So it's easy for us to judge that person. Yeah. It's easiest for to say, oh, this person on drugs, oh, look at him. You know, he's disgusting. Why would he do that? But what about your addiction? What about your greed?
It's like I hear that there's this verse in the Bible that I've read that says that you look at the piece of speck in someone's eye, and then there's a massive log in your own eye.
Exactly, bro.
That you can't even see.
Exactly, bro. So because we look at everybody else's stuff, bro. Me, I look internally, you know. And this is why for me, it's when people say, "Oh, if you die now, you think you go to heaven?" Say, bro, honestly, bro, I think that I hope too, but I have my own stuff. Like if I was to hear, oh yeah, to go to hell, I'd be like, you know, I could see why, bro. We all in sin, bro. Unless we being like these perfect beings, bro. Like how we supposed to really determine? I don't know.
Do you think that living the way you live gives you peace? You know, peace of mind?
Definitely, way more.
Yeah.
Bro, I'll tell you, bro. This is why I talk about that. Is that I can never prove. To you that God exists. I can never prove. There is no way I could. Anyone who says, "Oh, I could prove to you that God exists," no, you can't, because we could say, "Oh, that's the universe," or "That's energy," you know, or you put yourself in a position for that to happen, we cannot prove. But what I could prove to you, right, is that from when I started walking this walk, now I'm talking this walk and challenging myself, despite the times when you fall, despite the times where you do sin, right? Sin is something that comes with it. It doesn't, you becoming Christian doesn't exclude you from sin. You know, it probably makes it way worse. But what I could say is that it did help me become better.
Yeah.
It did help me think about others. You know, how this person will feel. You know, how to do this in a way that this person sees more than they see. You know, how we could, the conversations that we have, do you leave a conversation feeling filled, or do you leave worse than you feel? There's so many people walking around us who dying for something more, bro. I work in a barber shop and I work with people 24/7.
Yeah.
There's so much people dying for stuff, bro. And we out here living our lives for ourselves and walking around hunky-dory like everything is all good. Everything is not all good. That depressed person could be the person that God put in your life to make something better. We don't know. Everybody, there's a ripple effect for everything, bro. But if we care about each other, then that means we care about ourselves, no? How you could say you care about your wife and your kids when all you do is work? The only way you could say, and how you can say you care about yourself, sorry? How you could say you care about yourself if all you do is work and your wife and your kids suffering? You don't care about yourself?
True.
You don't care. If you care about yourself, you will make sure your house in place first.
Before anybody else, before anywhere else.
Before, bro, you could ask my wife till this day. If I ever take, any money I make, they have access to. Anything I do, they have access to.
Some men would kill you for that.
Bro, it's
they would say that you're betraying the manhood code or something like that.
No, bro, dog, I'm telling you, bro. Like sometimes I'll go into my wallet and I'll see no money, bro. But you, anybody take my money? Oh yeah, take it because I wanted to do. Bro,
yeah.
Why do we do it? Because
of the love you have for them?
No, we do it for them. It's only through them you could become happy. Through God, through them. It's a pyramid, bro. You have God to the top, right? You have your wife second, you have your kids third. Not kids second, wife third. Despite what people believe, you have your wife second, your kids third. And the reason why God do it like that is because He understand what gonna happen for us to go through these mental breakdowns. It's like when you pay your kids before your spouse, right? It's like, okay, now you have conflict. If you pay your spouse first, then your kids see and they align. Naturally.
They also respect it.
Yeah, naturally they align.
Yeah.
Right? And then you have you. But you have to, it's a perspective, bro. And once you understand the perspective of you the last in the equation, everybody's like, oh, let me find my peace. Or I need to find myself. The goal is not to find yourself, bro. The goal is to lose yourself and find God.
Okay.
And through that you find purpose. Because then He started to talk to you. He started to tell you, oh yeah, you know, I want you to go this way. Don't go that way.
And then how do you find God? Do you find God in a church? Do you find Him, where do you find Him?
But you can find God anywhere you want to. Especially in 2025. Right? Where do you find porn?
Well, I guess in the phone.
But you find it because you want to find it.
Of course.
If you don't have a phone. If you don't have a phone, let's say you don't have a phone right now. Right? And you really wanted to watch porn, what you do?
You'd probably walk into a store somewhere.
A TV, or go and get a magazine.
Yeah.
You'll find it.
You'll look for it and you'll find it.
You'll look for it and you'll find it.
Yeah.
You'll look probably at people on the street, trying to remember how they look.
Yeah.
You will find it, bro. Right? It's the same with God, bro. You could find Him. Right? And the only reason why I like to talk to people about Him is because I know that the more people know of Him, it's the easier it is for me to follow Him.
Yeah.
It's hard. Right? But if I have more people that follow Him, now it's easier for me to follow Him. So we all grow together.
If all the people around you followed Him, then it also becomes easier for you to follow Him. And do you think talking about Him also makes you a better, let me not say a better Christian, but have better knowledge about God? And the reason why I'm asking this is because I remember when I was younger, I remember my teachers used to tell me that if you want to become better at math, teach other kids how to do math. and that way you become better at math. So I'm wondering, do you think also that would apply in this case, that talking about God also makes you better in knowing God?
Well, it does, and but it's something I be careful about. So for me, is that it does, because I get to hear other perspectives. But it could be confusing if you're talking to the wrong people. So for instance, me talking in my early days to somebody who has been an atheist for their whole life could confuse me.
Okay.
Because now that atheist could tell you things in the Bible that you can answer the questions for. And now I'm trying to make you question your own belief.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful. You know, you have to say, you know what? It's not if we have no conversation, I mean, we actually trying to flourish from it, that's different. But if you're trying to put your beliefs on me, then now we have an issue.
Yeah.
But I like to talk about it because I get to hear other perspectives about the same stories that I have. Like, for instance, I would talk about Job, I will have one perspective. I could talk to somebody else and they have a totally different perspective of what happened to Job. And you could talk to somebody else and then, but all three perspectives make sense. Because it's a story, it's poetry. Poetry has so much different layers.
And you know, sometimes I struggle with people who try to explain the existence of God simply by using the Bible, because this is what I believe. I believe that the Bible was not necessarily written to answer all questions. For instance, if someone comes from a science background and tells me that the Earth is 15 billion years old, or 13 billion years old. Well, now they're saying it's 22 billion years old. Now, if someone comes from the science world and says that, and I say, and they're talking about how the world evolved, I'm like, okay, I see your point, but I think I tend to believe in intelligent design and creation. So I will tell them about the creation story. But now, if they were to ask me to show them in the Bible where it says how old the world is or how long ago the creation happened, I may not be able to pinpoint that. Well, some people say it's 6,000 years old, by answering by using some few verses in the Bible. But I also think that now what I tell those people is that I think the Bible was not written to answer that question. The Bible was written to give me the story of salvation, And so if you want any question on salvation answered, you'll find it in the Bible. But if you try asking the Bible, when was the world created, the Bible will not tell you it's 15 billion years old or 6,000 years old, as people tend to put it. And so, coming from that perspective, do you think that the Bible was written to answer every question, or what's your perspective on that?
No, I think that the Bible was a book, is a bunch of books that was written that piled together.
Yeah, put together.
I think in the time when it was written, I don't think these guys cared about the time. I don't think they cared about the world is too big. They didn't care about that. All they could think about is what's happening right now and the message that they need to push out. Right? And even this is something that I want to be careful how I answer it. But I also believe that the scientific part was made so that we could question the Bible. Because if the Bible says basically is this amount of years, right? Now, if we have all these other years, what happened to these years? So now it's to question the Bible. So what about the dinosaurs? Why the Bible didn't talk about dinosaurs? Why the Bible didn't talk about these things?
Well, I think the Bible doesn't talk about very many animals, but my belief is that, this is my personal belief, you could question me on that. I have seen dinosaur bones, so I believe that dinosaurs existed. I mean, traveling all over Alberta, you see dinosaur bones. And as now, I ask myself, where did these dinosaurs go? I think that they died during Noah's flood. You could not quote me on that, but I think that, that's when they died.
And that's highly possible.
Yeah.
But you see how we talk about something that make us question every other thing.
Yes.
And that's the issue. That's the issue for me. So this is why, with me, I don't really get into the
those kinds of argument.
Yeah, the nitty, because then science would always create something that makes sense to them that people could say is fact. That is science, bro. It's
well, as scientists, we tend to try to find answers. I mean, a scientist's mind is questioning the belief or the status quo to try to find answers to those beliefs. You know, any question that you generally have can be answered by or be attempted to be answered by science. And
But I can't prove most of it.
Well, it is possible that most of it can be proven, but a good chunk of it can be proven. You know, for instance, if you wanted to prove the law of gravity, that if I drop my pencil, it's going to drop to the ground, that can be proven. Yeah. But there are things that can be proven.
Yeah, but no, okay, but the law of gravity is not scientific fact.
What do you mean?
Like, it come like Christopher Columbus
discovered America?
Trinidad.
Okay.
You know, like, oh yeah, we discovered. It's like, no, we lived it before.
Yeah.
Like, if you throw something down, it will fall. That was way before the law of gravity.
Yeah.
That is not something they created. They didn't create that.
Yes, I do believe that they didn't create it. But I think Isaac Newton is the guy who's credited with the law of gravity. I don't think he says that he created the law of gravity. But it is wrong for anybody to say that he discovered something. You know, Newton didn't discover gravity.
Exactly, bro. Like,
he probably put it into paper, into a book, or into perspective.
Bro, bro, we could go way back to the cavemen. And when they hunting, they know that if they sling an arrow up this way, how far they have to do it to hit the bear that's far away.
Yeah,
know,
without any calculations, they would actually know where to shoot an arrow to hit a deer that's 1,000 feet away.
Bro. They know, bro. So it was there.
They knew this, gravity in their own way.
Yeah, bro, it was there. So and this is that's what I'm saying is that I can't prove to you that God exists, bro. I could tell you everything. If you don't believe in the Bible, you could say, oh, okay, I don't believe in the Bible. What are you supposed to prove? Right? I could just prove to you, I could just tell you how it affect my life, bro.
Yeah.
You know, how it make me, bro. Like how I see. You know, I see my daughter, my wife last week went on my daughter's Roblox. You know, she goes like every so often to check to make sure that she having like the conversations. And on her page, on her profile, it's hi, I am, and she has a different name for online. Right? She doesn't. So she say hi, I am whatever her name was, and she's like, I just want you guys to know that Jesus loves you, even if you don't think he does. He loves you or something like that, right? And that is it, bro. Like, you are to lead by example as a father. You know, as a father, you are to find God first. You know,
do you think that if all fathers found God, they would become better fathers?
Definitely, without a doubt. With no, bro, I could put my head on a block right now, and I could tell you, find me a father that found God, truly found God, not a father that say he found God and he's a pastor. So a father that truly found God, right? A father that truly found God that became worse. Show me one person that truly found God and developed depression. Show me one person that truly found God and became a drug addict. Just one that truly found God for who he is, not for what they want, not for what he could give them. Show me one person, bro, that truly found God and became worse.
Yeah.
If you could show me one person that actually happened to, bro, I would be open to listening to all these other different doctrines. But till then, I could show you a million people who truly found God and became better.
Yeah.
You know, we have that on deck. I can show you right now. Right? But you can never show me somebody who truly found God and failed it.
Yeah.
And when I say fail, I don't mean like at the business or whatever. Because God is still a just God.
Yeah.
He reigns on the righteous and the unrighteous, bro. You can, if you're a hard worker, he still blesses you. Because that's how
regardless
he is, bro.
of if you believe
or not, bro.
So you could be a believing Christian or, you know, believing in God, but if you're not a hard worker, then you're still gonna struggle.
Yeah, but you can never believe in God truly and not be a hard worker. It don't go hand in hand, bro.
So when you believe in God, there's other things that you also get?
Yes.
Okay.
Because you develop this spirit.
Yeah.
You develop the spirit of being hardworking. You know, you develop the spirit of being given. You develop the spirit of being just. You develop the spirit of being generosity. All these things is stuff that he develops in you.
Yeah.
So you could never find somebody who truly believes in God and lazy, bro. You wouldn't see it.
Yeah.
You won't see it, bro. It don't make sense. It don't go hand in hand. It can't. It can't go hand in hand.
I like how you mention your kids here and there a lot, and I really love that about you. I'm also a parent, and one of the reasons why I do this podcast is for my daughter. Hopefully, when she grows older, she'd find something to watch in this that makes sense to her.
Yeah.
I mean, there's many other things that she could watch at that point. Hopefully, she becomes interested to find out who I am, what I believed in, and the people that I used to hang out with, like Vaughan here, believe in. You said earlier on that, actually, before I ask you this question, why did you start this podcast?
Oh, so there's a few reasons why I started this podcast, right? One of the reasons why I started this podcast was that I needed to keep moving. You know, I got to a point in my career where I felt like it wasn't, like, I just didn't want to remain stagnant in what I was doing. And I did like record a couple other podcasts with different people before, and I saw that where they were going right and where they were going wrong.
Yeah, you were like a guest with them, with their podcasts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I wasn't a guest with them. I was actually recording.
Oh, you were shooting them.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
actually the first podcast that I am a guest on. I've never been a
Cool.
guest before. Yeah. So,
Well, you're not a guest, really. I mean, we are.
yeah, but this is the
Yeah,
first one
but-
where I get to, like, most times it's people hearing other stories, not me talking, right? So, so I started it. So that was one of the reasons, and then my kids, I wanted to have my kids on my podcast, you know, and then I just knew that I wanted to build a platform so I could do different, so I could truly do what I really want to do. You know, and I love talking to different people who into business and who going through stuff in their life, people who need a voice. I really wanted to be that guy. Like, most of the people who you see on podcasts coming out of Canada look nothing like me or act nothing like me. You know, you always see like the regular Canadians. You never hear like good stories. So that's really why I really wanted to press here. What about you?
For me, I always say, I always want something that my daughter can watch in the future and listen to. But even before that, so when I said the podcast, it was before my daughter was born. And
How old is she now?
She's 2 years old now.
Okay.
So I started this podcast about 4 years ago. And when I started off, it wasn't a podcast, it was a singing podcast. So during COVID, we were at home and, you know, tired and stuff like that. And so I was like, maybe I should go and hang out with people and sing, because I used to love singing. And so I'd go to people's home and we'd sit down and we'd sing. So set up my cameras and we'd either have a guitar or a keyboard or a piano or something like that, and then we'd just sing. And then it happened that I did that for about 6 months every Friday night. I burnt out basically, because setting up, the entire Friday was dedicated to this. So coming to someone's home, setting up, singing, setting down, driving back to home. Sometimes it's a 3-hour drive, you know, to this person's home and stuff like that. So the whole day Saturday, I was tired and sleepy. I go to church on Saturday, so I'm Seventh-day Adventist. So it was very difficult for me. I was sleepy the whole day Saturday, and you know, doing this every Friday became very difficult for me. So I just burnt out and I stopped. So I stopped for 3 years.
Yeah.
And then last year, after my daughter was born, so when my daughter was born, it was, you know, when the new daughter is, the baby is new, you gotta take care of the baby. You gotta, you know, it's a lot of, you know, hectic time for new parents. It was our first kid, so new parents. And I used to think, you know, maybe I should start it now. And it was just difficult. So one day, I'm there, you know, listening. I was listening to some podcasts. I was listening to this guy, and he was saying very, very useful stuff. And I thought to myself, maybe when my daughter grows old, I'd like her to listen to stuff like this. So I hung out with a friend of mine and we just started recording. And that's how we started the podcast again.
Yeah.
I restarted the podcast, I'd say. So I never changed the name. So the name, The Couch Connect, was there from the singing podcast. So when you sit and sing in a couch. Well, I could sing a little bit. I'm not a very good singer, I'd say, but I try.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, when you go to people's homes, of course, some other people are good singers, others are also not very good singers. But I think my downfall is the sound. So I'm not very good at sound. I'm good with video and stuff, but my sound, my abilities with sound is very poor.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I realized is that speaking and singing, you can't use the same setting for speaking and singing.
No.
When you sing, you're definitely gonna be louder. And so when you listened to those podcasts earlier on, the first, I'd say like 20 episodes were all music. The sound was horrible in some of the episodes. Some of the episodes, the sound was good. Some of them, it was pathetic because I just didn't know how to set the sound. Yeah.
And then it's hard when you go to different places to set up. That's why for me, I did this because it's way easier to have one place, than, and it's already set up.
Yeah.
Than to keep going. I used to do it at the barber shop at first. My first couple episodes was at the barber shop at night. But to go there, set up all the time, it definitely would burn you out. It was a nicer setting. Like if you look at my first episodes at the barber shop, it's like you can see the window with the cars passing behind.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
And then there's like you see people walking by. It was cool.
So
it was
initially I thought it was like a restaurant. I didn't know that it was a barber shop. Cool.
Yeah, that's my barber shop. So you'll see people walking by. It was cool, like a radio station.
Yeah.
So, but it was just hard because I'll have to like leave my family because we can't do that. We can't do during the day.
Yeah.
Because it's a barber shop. Yeah, do it at night. Most times at like 9. So after I put my kids to bed, I have to go down there.
Then you go down to the barber shop. Yeah.
Shoot until like 10, 11. Pack down, come back home. Do it again.
Yeah. It becomes tiring at some point because for me, I travel a lot and everywhere I go with my equipment, and I record the people where they're available because I realized that every time I used to ask someone to come over, they'd be reluctant to come over, and so I just made it a habit of driving over to their home or their place or flying over to where they are, and I just kept doing that over and over again. And maybe one day when I have the budget for it, I could, have a crew would come with me because I become tired also, setting up and setting down. It becomes tiring at some point.
Yeah. So it's different. So you're a teacher, you said?
Yeah. So I teach at a university. I teach innovation at a university. Yeah.
Which university?
I don't know if I want to say that. I can tell you the name of the episode.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
Okay. Oh, so you do that full time?
What's that?
Do you do that full time?
No, so I don't teach full time. I'm what they call a sessional faculty, a sessional professor, because I do many other things apart from teaching. I am an entrepreneur, so I run a bunch of businesses, and I am also getting my second PhD in regenerative medicine at York. That one I can tell you is at York. Yeah.
That's good, though.
So I'm doing all this. Trying to keep myself busy. I guess it helps. It helps with staying focused.
Yeah. And how old are you?
Oh man, I am 35 years old.
Oh, you married 1990?
1989, December 15. So
you're gonna be 36 this year?
Yeah, I'm gonna be 36 in December 15.
Oh yeah. No, I'm gonna be 35 August 21st.
Yeah. So we're basically age mates. Yeah. So like I told you, we can't say that we are. I feel young, so I know that I'm not supposed to be this young, but my body still feels young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, perhaps I feel young. My body doesn't feel young. My knees kind of crack whenever I do this.
Yeah.
Whenever I stretch them, they crack. When I do this, it cracks. You see? It cracks, but
but that cracking doesn't. But that cracking is not necessarily because you're old. It's basically there's air pockets that are trapped in your knees and your elbows. So when you're cracking, and also your knuckles. So when you're doing that, it's not necessarily your bones making noise. It's those air pockets popping. And that's where the noise comes from. So you can't use that to estimate your age. But what I've realized is that I feel pain more now than I used to feel before. When I work out or when I do stuff like that, I feel pain more now. When I do these 10K walks every other day, so I either a 10K walk today or a 5K run the next day. And now I feel tired more. I feel this weird pain at the bottom of my left foot.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I mean, that kind of tells you that age is catching up. But I mean, when I look at a 35-year-old, when I was like 5 years old, 9 years old, the 35 years olds then looked very old, man.
Even 28, you just look old. Like nowadays, I feel like people at 60 look young. Whereas back in the day, like somebody was 60, thought they were gonna die soon.
Yeah.
Now people living way younger, people taking their health way more seriously. Like me, I have a treadmill right there. And today I didn't get to run because I had to set up, but I tried to do like 5K. I tried to do 5K in 30 minutes, you know? And I started back into the gym more, trying to get my body right, you know? Still want to look. I don't want to say, oh, I'm trying to become a man of God and I'm not looking good, you know? You have to look good too, you know? You have to make them see that it's every area that God protects, not just your spirit, bro. He protects your body. You know, he have you looking on fleek. You know, I need to get these leg muscles here pumping.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I don't work out like you. Maybe I should. Maybe I should at some point, because that's what I've always been wondering. Should I go to the gym to work out, you know, and stuff like that? But I mean, I'm not sure. Maybe at some point we'll figure it out. If I
man, it's good to go to the gym and get your muscles pumping, you know?
Yeah, but I'm more of at home workout, so I do my workouts at home. And but
the gym is good too, because honestly, if you could think about it like church, is that you go to church, say you be around people who believe the same things, and church is about community. I had this a conversation with a guy. He's a Christian too, and he was telling me that you don't go to church for community. You go to church to find God, and I'm like, that's not true, right? Like you do find God. You go to find God as well, but you could find God anywhere, right? But church is about is that he, like, I feel like Jesus and God really understood the importance of community, you know. And it's the same like when you go to the gym. Is that you being around all these different people who working out helps you work out more. You know, so now you can, when you're at home working out, you can just sit sometimes you work out, go for a half an hour, you're like, oh, I feel a little tight, I'm done, you know. But when in the gym and you see everybody else work out, you're like, oh yeah, I do work out, I want to be like that guy. You see that guy there? That's what I'm trying to be like, you know. So you want to look good, you know. Yeah. And you want to feel good, you want to work out harder. So that's why it's good to go to the gym as well as work out home. Yeah,
I'll figure that out. Maybe soon I'll be able to get to that point.
Yeah.
But you know, as we're landing the plane now, I mean, I know you gotta go back to work, but you talked about, you know, your like I've been saying, you've been talking about your kid or your kids, and one of the things you said earlier on when you said it is like you'd have loved to have your kids grow up in Trinidad. Oh, why is that?
Wow. Bro, the life in Trinidad was like we would be outside all day. Everyone knew everyone. You had so much cousins, bro. So much cousins.
Are these cousins that you're related by blood or just friends in the neighborhood?
Okay. Both, bro. You know, and I always tell them about Christmas morning. Like Christmas morning, you wake up and you open your toys and then you go outside for the whole day. Most times, everyone just decides to go to the beach. You know. The way that we were brought up, a little bit like the respect, like how you talk to people, you know, how you talk to your elders, you know, how you look at life, you know, how you look at how you, like everything that we thought of. I feel like so much memories that I had growing up in Trinidad, it's hard for them to get here, you know, and it's one thing that I used to love. Sometimes my mom would just after school take us to the beach, you know, and like my school was overlooking the beach. When I went to chef school was overlooking the beach, and we took it for granted. We go down and we'll play now and then, but we really took it for granted how much of a blessing it was to have a school with open windows and you could see the beach, and every day you pass the beach, every day you smell the beach. So much so that when I went back to Trinidad as a tourist, I smelled the beach. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I
miss this.
Yeah. And I'm seeing like mountains. You know? You come here, all you see is flat, all houses look the same.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, I dislike that about it. Exactly. I dislike the fact that every house looks the same.
Every house looks the same. You can't, like, you have to actually, like, back in Trinidad, houses aren't even numbered as much. There's no big numbers. Right? You know how you describe your house? When you turn the corner, you'll see the yellow house on the left.
Yeah, that's my home.
Right? Whereas here it's like 1306.
Yeah,
you have to go look at, oh, this is it right here.
Yeah, that's what you dropped me this morning.
Right? Because they all look the same. But back home it's like, oh yeah, no. When you come inside, the number is this number, but you'll see a blue house with our palm tree in the side, in the front. That's the house, and that's how you look for the house.
Yeah.
You know, it's different, but like the way we operate with each other, the way we talk to each other. Yeah, we fight a lot, but we understand that even though we fight, you still have to respect the person.
Yeah.
You know, we could fight. Like relationships are built off fights, bro. Like you and your wife could never get close if one of those fight. If there's no argument, there needs to be friction to learn. You know, my kids, I see them fighting all the time, and my wife tries to stop them. I say, no, this is what makes them. This is the bond. Like that fight that we see is a bond that's being created. You know, it's because they want to. You have your head, she have her head, and you both want to be right, but you both can't be right. So now we're gonna have friction until we keep going up and you say, okay, when I do this, she learns.
Yeah.
When I do this, he learns. I learn him. We grow together.
Yeah.
That's so. These things, a lot of the time, bro, Trinidad taught me so much, bro. It taught me how to look at people. You know, it gave me a better spirit of discernment. Like I could see somebody for who they are easier. And I could see somebody and be like, yo, you might be quiet, but I know you're a shark. You know, or somebody could act like, there's this girl we have working in the shop. And one thing I told her when I just met her is like, yo, all these tattoos that you have is like you put all these tattoos on you to protect you from the world. Because you want the world to look at you and say, oh, she's hard or he's hard. Let me not try. Because you've been messed over, people hurt you a lot. So you think that if you look scary, they wouldn't hurt you. They wouldn't think to come close. But when I see it, all I see is somebody who is soft on the inside.
Yeah.
Because it put all these other things on you so that we think that you're hard.
Think you're strong and macho and
exactly,
stuff like that.
You know?
Yeah.
But in society, bro, we have to look out for the weak.
Yep.
And Trinidad teaches us that a lot. To look out for the weak. You know, take care of the people around you who don't know how to take care of themselves. Look out for the grandmother who husband just died and she can't cut her own lawn. You know, go and help her cut her lawn. Go and talk to her. You know, carry some mangoes. Because she bring mangoes for you.
Yeah.
Right? When you was a kid, she used to bring mangoes for you. So you got to carry mangoes for her now.
Yeah.
You know, so that society teaches us to care about one another. Even with crime, you care about one another. You know, you look out for the other person. I remember one time I went with a girl I was talking to downtown and I was holding hands.
In Trinidad?
Yeah. And this is why till this day, I don't like PDA. I don't like public display of affection. So I was holding her hand and by the time I got home, my mom was like, whose hand you were holding?
The whole village knew.
Because somebody saw.
Yeah.
And say, yo, I see your son holding hands.
Yeah.
His son is a big boy. Who hand he was holding? And why he was there? The only voice of reason in my head is always my mom. Right? Why were you there? Something happened. Why you were there? You think you should have been there? Is it something that you could have avoided? You know, the person who tried to scam me, is it something that you could avoid? I could have avoided.
Yeah.
So why blaming him for being who he is?
You can't.
When I wasn't who I am. I was supposed to be smarter.
True.
Right? So Trinidad really teaches you that, and I really wish my kids had that freedom of not being under the constraints of we had to work every day and pay and go to daycare. We didn't have, we on our days off, we go by your cousins.
Yeah.
Your grandmother
and hang out with your cousins, yeah.
You know, you have family. You know, here you gotta go to daycare, bro.
Yeah, and pay for it too.
Yeah, they pay for daycare. You go with a bunch of people who come with a bunch of other doctrines that we don't know. You know, some of them their families don't teach them any kind of love, and then they're gonna pass on to your kids. So now your kids thinking that what you give to them is not enough, or is nothing, means nothing.
You don't got me an iPad yet.
Right? Yeah, exactly. You know, like all these things, we can't protect our kids from the doctrines of the world, bro. They go to the school. The school teaches you what they want. Here, not once have my daughter come on with work. I have to be like, yo, you come. Where's your work? Or we leave it in school. So what are they teaching you? We don't know. We just hoping that it go and work out.
Yeah.
We all rolling the dice on this one, right? We shoot and die. So I don't know, bro. It's different, and not Canada.
Let me ask you, if you had the opportunity to take your kids for about, let's say, I don't know, a year, 2 years, what would it take for you to decide, you know what, for the next 2 years, my kids are going to hang out in Trinidad?
Well, because for me is the businesses. Like I have like the barber shop and stuff here. And there's a
Do you think they could go live there without you for a year?
Yeah, definitely. It will be hard for them. But I don't think they will have to do it without me because as their father.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have to do it without me unless I die.
You gotta be there too.
Unless I die. Or if I'm alive, there's no reasons why they have to
can't
go
be
and
there
live
with-
somewhere else without me, you know? And I think that's just it, bro. And then it's the fear of a father of being wrong. You know, at least here they are where they are. If I go there and I get wrong, you know, then what? I have to live the rest of my life knowing that I put them in this danger.
Yeah.
I took them out of the comfort zone and this happened now. What I have to do now is I have to learn. I have to pray to God to help me to learn to pray better.
Yeah.
So I can help them. And that he can help them. And that they can help themselves. That's the only hope I really have now, bro.
I think you're a very good father, Vaughn.
I try.
I mean, having hung out with you for the past couple hours here and, you know, having talked to you, I think there's a lot to learn. You know, I've learned that every time when you meet someone, there's so much that you can learn from them. There's so much that you can learn from just having a conversation with them. And to answer your other question as well, another reason why I said this podcast is just to be able to learn. You know, sometimes when you're just sitting down with someone, you talk about a lot, but you probably don't learn because you don't document it or anything. But because right now I'm sitting here with you, I am learning too, man. And I'm gonna edit this, so I'm gonna be learning when I'm still editing. I'm gonna listen to it again, you know, and then when it plays at least once or twice, I'm also gonna listen to it. So I'm gonna listen to it at least 4 times, man. And I think that helps.
I think that's one of the reasons I started to, because that's one of the reasons why I love documentary filmmaking. Is that you learn a lot of stories. You know, you learn a lot about people, even your own friends, as you say. Like I could have friends that I'm friends with for years, and then you put them to talk here, and then you learn so much more. You don't understand. Like the last person I had on my podcast was Gabby.
Yeah,
and she's
one of my
she's one of my friends. Like her husband was actually my camp counselor growing up. Like he knew me since I was a kid.
Yeah,
right. And now we good friends because we closer in age as they get older.
Yeah,
and she sat here and we spoke, and there's things about her that I didn't even know, and there's things about her that there's things that impacted her that I did, that I didn't even know.
Yeah,
you know, and you learn so much about them, and this is why I really started this too. Is that, as I said before, bro, like Canada doesn't allow us to have these relationships because it's all about work, and we don't really get time to just like sit back and enjoy the company of the people who we have.
Yep, the people around us.
And the time that we have, and that's why going back to what I was saying before, that's why I see time as horizontal. You know, if you see time as horizontal, you don't think you're running out.
Yeah. Because
if time going up, eventually you run out. If time is horizontal, when it's done, it's done. There's no trick. There's nothing to be fearful of.
Yeah.
You know I know how this situation that we're going through right now, it's going to pan out. You know, my job is to keep going the way I'm going, and my spirit is gonna go through this. This is gonna pass. This pain is gonna pass. This pain didn't come to stay. Joy is to pass. Pain is to pass. You know, where there is sunshine,
so what
there
stays?
must be rain. Nothing stays, bro. All that stays is your faith.
Yeah.
Right? Because your faith doesn't promise you're gonna be happy. You're gonna be sad, bro. You're gonna feel depressed. You know, you're gonna feel joy. With the same tongue that you exclaim joy, you're gonna exclaim sadness. You know, you're gonna be disappointed. You're gonna feel hurt. You're gonna feel anger. You're gonna feel laugh. You laugh. You laugh with the same tongue you cry with, bro. It's the same
True.
tongue. You know? Happiness will pass, sadness will pass, bro. But how we react to these things is up to us.
Yeah.
You know, and that's all we could really control, bro. It's how we reacted. You could be sad and be a poor me one. In Trinidad we have a saying called a poor me one. Right? And we say it as one, it's like a poor me one, but it's just a poor me one. It's like somebody say, oh, poor me.
Yeah.
Poor me, oh, this happened, oh, poor me. You're depressed, oh, poor me. And we all could be like that.
Yeah.
Or we could decide, okay, I break my leg, now what? You gotta move on.
Yeah.
This time, this gonna heal. When it heal, I better be prepared to run. If I wait until it heal to try to run, then it will take more months.
Yeah.
But if I keep preparing it to run, doing therapy, you know, stretching it out, rolling it, taking a little walk, you know, preparing it so that when it's ready, we can run.
Yeah.
You don't wait until it's ready then to try to prepare to run. Because apparently, I broke my leg, right?
Oh.
I broke my leg before, and the doctor told me that once the cast was off, I have to keep rolling it like this, because if I leave it, it can become stiff. It becomes too stiff. So think about that.
Yeah.
If you leave it, it becomes too stiff. So you have
So
to
you gotta
prepare
keep
it.
rolling. Yeah.
Prepare it so that it doesn't become stiff.
Yeah.
So when you're ready, it's good. It's not too stiff.
Man, when folks hang out with me, there's a tradition that I have. I treat them like the president of the United States. When they're leaving office, they normally leave a letter for the guy who's coming in after them.
Yeah.
So now that you're seated here, the guest who was seated with me, you know, before you left, a question for you.
Oh.
And so you're also going to get an opportunity to write a question for the next guest.
Okay.
So what is one thing that you have feared but overcame, and how did you do it?
One thing that I have feared that I overcame was becoming a father. Becoming a father, I was really scared. Becoming a husband, I was really scared. To live up to what I think a father should be, or who I think a father should be. I didn't even understand what a father should be, I should say, you know. So, I really feared that transition and how it would make me, you know. Prior to that, I was a young, immature guy that loved partying and, you know, loved all these things that wasn't fruitful to, wasn't seedful to bring any fruit, you know. And then I had these kids, and then I realized that it's a day-to-day thing, you know. And loving the kids is something that it's something that we have to decide to do. You know, it's not something like most people feel like it's something that comes natural, and yeah, probably, but it's something you have to decide to love somebody. You know, you could decide to not be there. You know, it's something that you have to be like, I'm gonna be here for this person, and I'm gonna fight every battle with this person, and it's still scary because my kids are, I would say, like, my kids are my weakness. You know, like, you could see your heart running around, jumping from couch to couch. Imagine if you could see a heart playing outside everybody, boys. They don't understand. They don't have any care for it. They don't understand life. You know, you are the kind of guide them, and you are the hope that you guide them in a way that they become better humans than you will. Yeah. And it's scary, but now I understand, because I know that the only way we could do that is through God. There's no other way we could do it, not with our own understanding. What we think we know about this world is not of this world. The only thing that makes sense is what is God's word, bro. Yeah. And true. I think that's a fear that I overcame, was fear of being a failed dad. It was so bad that when I got life insurance, I put suicide in it. I paid extra. Damn. Just in case. Because in my mind, I was like, I'm in my right frame of mind, but I don't know who I could become tomorrow. So it's there just in case. I still pay for it right now. I can't take it out because it's my policy, but I still, you know? Yeah. I put it there. So that was a fear that I did overcome.
That's deep, and I'm happy that you overcame it, or, you know, figured it out.
Yeah.
So here's the opportunity to write your question for the next guest on the show.
Okay. Is it private? Is it like whatever?
Yeah, so I normally don't see the question until I'm seated right in front of the guest. Oh. So like this question, I just saw it right now. Thanks, man. Vaughn, it's been great hanging out with you and listening to your insight, man. You are very wise. I think you're wiser than you accept.
Maybe, bro. Maybe I should have been I should have been a scholar in another life. Maybe I am in another life, but I don't know. But yeah, bro. I just as I say, bro. Like this is everything that I know. Everything that I think is stuff that I learned through God, bro.
Yeah.
It's stuff that I spend time trying to understand. It's not something that I just woke up and say. It's stuff that I spend time trying to understand, and everyone has it's available for everyone.
True.
Like God is available for everyone, and he's calling everyone. And a lot of the times we are depressed is because he is calling you. And when God calls you, he calls you different. He shows you all your imperfections, and it could call if you don't hear the message properly, it could make you feel like your life isn't good, but it's just him showing you how good your life could be.
True. Damn.
And I wish I could get to interview you more. But the next time when we do it, we'll have to get me to do.
Yeah, you're gonna be I feel like I carried I feel like you threw the whole thing at me today, and I ended up asking most of the questions. So yeah, it'll be great to do this again, and you can get to ask the questions next time.
Yeah, bro. But thanks for coming on still.
Thanks, man. This has been a crosspod between the Young and Gifted podcast and the Couch Connect. Vaughn, do you have anything to tell folks here before we sign out?
No, I think I'm empty now. I think I left empty.
Till next time, do take care. Kwaheri.